People saying it's Get Back. People saying a bunch of things
That
going
shit
on.
good.
Do you remember the day Los Angeles went silent? The moment Nipsey Hussle's name turned from legend to curse? Years later, the city froze again when Big U's son was found dead, and the killer confessed, "I did it for Nipsey." But what if that wasn't revenge at all? What if this was the final twist in a decade-old betrayal that's been brewing in the shadows?
He was super cool, bro.
Yeah.
Hilarious and just had good vibes. Unfortunately, his son got shot and killed outside a smoke shop in the Hoover territory.
Halloween night in South Central wasn't supposed to end in blood, but at exactly 11 p.m., under the weak orange glow of flickering streetlights near West 69th and South Figueroa, gunfire ripped through the air like lightning. Witnesses said it happened so fast they couldn't even react.
That whole down to like, you feel me, to the 60s, where unfortunately, I think this was at like 67th and Fig.
It said 69.
69, okay. So
Within seconds, 34-year-old Jabari Baby Wee Henley, son of the infamous Los Angeles figure Eugene Big U Henley, was lying lifeless outside a smoke shop, his body riddled with bullets. The LA County Medical Examiner ruled it a homicide, confirming he was struck multiple times at close range. Officers tried to bring him back, performing CPR, but by the time he reached the hospital, it was over. LAPD labeled it a targeted hit but stayed quiet on suspects or motives, and that silence only made the whispers louder. In a viral No Jumper episode, host spoke with heartbreak, saying it didn't feel real. How could someone so connected to LA's pulse just vanish like that?
you could look up all the murders in Los Angeles, that there's certain places right now that are not cool to hang out with out here. These places are hot.
Meanwhile, Big U, whose name carries both fear and respect across Los Angeles, was already locked up on federal RICO charges when the news hit. Imagine that. Behind bars, his empire collapsing, his name dragged through the mud, and now his son gone. The timing felt almost cursed. To outsiders, the corner of 69th and Figueroa might look like just another block, but locals know better. That's the Blade, a gritty stretch where hustlers, nightlife, and danger all breathe the same air. As one podcast host said, "That corner stays active, man." ABC 7 Eyewitness News confirmed the location, right outside Sunset Smoke Shop, across from a small liquor store. According to reports, the shooter pulled up in a dark ride, called out Jabari's name, and opened fire from the driver's seat before peeling off into the night.
Yeah. We still out here. Hey, well, you did. Hey, we on tape, man. Y'all don't want to sign too grimy. Y'all want to sign too grimy. Look at these two dudes, Yui and Nipsey Hussle, on the block.
Cops said this wasn't random, it was personal. And if you know South Central, that makes perfect sense. That block has been boiling with tension lately. Violence flaring up week after week. Gang intervention workers begged city officials to step in, but help never came. That's the hottest street on the Blade, one local warned, and everyone knows it can go left real quick. So who was Jabari Baby Wee Henley, really? Born in 1991, he was more than just Big U's son. He was a man trying to carve out his own path in a city that doesn't forgive mistakes.
You know what I mean? This is up. I'm gonna be honest, bro, because even though, you know what I mean, his son claimed Crip, you know what I'm saying? That's what you seen him with Nip in the little reel, and you know, that's what he claimed. I don't think he was like probably actively out here to people, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of born into it, you know what I mean? Because it's like your dad is Big U.
Jabari Henley grew up in the heavy shadow of one of LA's most talked about and controversial figures. His father, Eugene Big U Henley, a former Rollin 60s Crips shot caller turned music executive. Big U helped spark the rise of legends like Nipsey Hussle, Corrupt, and even Ice Cube. That legacy came with both respect and danger. And Jabari, known in the streets and studios as Baby Wee, tried to follow in his father's footsteps but still make his own mark. Running Unique Records, the same label his pops once used to push Nipsey's early career, Jabari was on a mission to prove he could turn the Henley name into something bigger than the streets. Friends called him disciplined, charismatic, and loyal. The kind of dude who could walk into any room and have everyone laughing in minutes. But even with that charm, the pull of the same streets that built his family was hard to resist.
Homie, they killed Nip too. Let's not forget, homie. They killed Nipsey Hussle. Eric Holder was not a lone actor in that. If you go back and follow the details, Nip and Big U got into it. Big U hit Nip Daddy across the head with a bat. His brother had to come out and shoot the gun.
People close to him said he was trapped between two worlds, the clean-cut music business he was trying to build and the raw street life that had shaped his bloodline for decades. According to Fox LA, Jabari had been working hard to polish Unique Records' image after earlier investigations linked it to alleged gang activity. Still, no matter how far he ran, his past was always right there in the rearview mirror. Back in 2021, his name popped up in a dark story, listed as a person of interest in the Las Vegas killing of rapper Rayon Lil R.W. Williams, whose body was found in the desert. Jabari was never charged, but that shadow followed him. And when his father got hit with a federal RICO case in 2025, the rumor mill went wild again. Even with all that heat, people who knew him swore Jabari had changed. When the news of his death broke, tributes flooded social media. Heartfelt messages from artists, friends, and neighborhood mentors who said he was finally finding his lane.
And I want to talk about, Big U. His son was assassinated last night out there in LA. Absolutely nasty work, man. Again, Big U, his son, Baby Huey, or Big Huey, right? He was assassinated last night on Halloween out there in LA.
His younger brother, Dion Henley, an NFL linebacker for the LA Chargers, learned about the shooting during a game and later posted an emotional message. 2025 has brought me more pain than joy. I'ma make sure we straight, big bro. I got nephew. Don't even worry about it. I love you. Allah bless me with even one more night with my big brother. You forever we. That post exploded online, crossing from the hip-hop scene into the sports world. The contrast was heartbreaking. Dion, the success story who beat the odds, and Jabari, the one who couldn't quite escape them. Their lives showed exactly how different two brothers' fates could be, even with the same blood and the same streets behind them. Inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, word of Jabari's death hit Big U like a hammer. Fellow inmate and producer Loose Cannon told TMZ the pain was unreal. Big U was shattered. The news sent shockwaves through LA blogs, some calling it poetic justice, others calling it revenge. Hashtags like #Cho for Nipsey started trending, with people claiming it was payback for past sins. But LAPD shut that down fast. No proof, no confirmation.
Big U's son has been taken out. If you don't know who Big U is, just a simple Google search would suffice. Big U allegedly had something to do with the killing of Nipsey Hussle. That's never been proven.
Still, social media kept spinning wild theories, some blaming Nipsey's diehard fans, others saying rival crews took their shot while Big U was behind bars. None of it was backed by facts. What was real, though, was the violence. LAPD reported that gang-related homicides in the city had jumped 34% from the year before. Analysts said social media beefs and turf wars were turning online talk into real-life tragedy. Analysts pointed to social media beefs, turf wars, and post-pandemic poverty as key reasons for the city's spike in killings. But for those who truly knew the Henley family, this one hit different. This wasn't just another street story, it was personal.
They say he was going to a smoke shop. I don't know why he was going to a smoke shop over there, but you know what I mean? That kind of sealed the deal for him, you know what I mean? Condolences to him, condolences to the family, Big U, he going through his thing, and he fighting a whole different battle. So I know he in there mourning right now, and it's just no parent wants to hear that their child, anything happened to their child. I don't care what, even if the child was doing bad shit or not. You know what I'm saying?
As rumors started swirling, detectives begged the public for patience. No suspects, no motive, no leads yet. But that didn't stop the whispers. Word on the streets said Jabari's killer had ties to Nipsey Hussle himself and that he pulled the trigger for Nipsey. Soon, that rumor would explode into a courtroom confession that shocked Los Angeles to its core.
If you know what's going on, right? If you in LA, or if you be in LA, or if you know what's going on in LA right now, it's some going on. Just look at all the shootings. Look at the people that was involved in the shootings, or the alleged groups, and all these shootings that's been going on this year, probably this summer, starting this summer. It's been turned up, bro. And it's kind of like, even though there's a lot of peace pushing going on, it's a lot of coexisting with different gangs and sets and some shits have generational history, bro. So even if be docile a little bit, all it take for is something crazy to happen or somebody else to get hit, and then they're gonna tit for tat.
The killer's apology, I did it for Nipsey. On the morning of November 7th, 2025, barely a week after Jabari Baby Wee Henley was gunned down, LA woke up to a headline that stopped the city cold. Big U's son suspected killer arrested, confession shocks courtroom. According to ABC7's police bulletin, LAPD's Southeast Division, working with the Gang and Narcotics Unit, had arrested 27-year-old Deshaun Lil Price Walters after a routine traffic stop in Compton. Inside his gray Dodge Charger, cops found a Glock 17 with its serial number scratched off, a perfect match to the shell casings from the Sunset Smoke Shop scene. But it wasn't the gun that made headlines. It was his words. When they read Walters, his rights, he reportedly blurted out something no one expected. And months later, during his sentencing on February 21st, 2026, those words would echo through a packed Los Angeles Superior Courtroom. As Deshaun Walters stood before Judge Maria Lopez, convicted of first-degree murder, the whole room fell silent. After sitting through the trial stone-faced, he finally broke. Gripping the podium, his hands shaking as he said, I know what I did was wrong, I know I took a life, and I know his family's hurting, but I need everyone to understand, I did it for Nipsey. Big U took someone we all loved, someone who fed our community, someone who tried to lift us up. And his son Jabari, he carried that same name, that same energy. I felt like it was justice, but now I realize I was just as wrong as anyone else. The courtroom exploded. Gasps, screams, and disbelief filled the air. Jabari's family members shouted in anger, unable to hold it together. NFL star Deion Henley dropped his head into his hands, tears streaming down his face. Big U, watching from behind bars via video link from the Metropolitan Detention Center, just stared blankly at the screen, his expression unreadable. Court officers rushed in to calm the chaos, but the damage was done. Everyone in that room felt the weight of what had just been said. Walters continued, his voice trembling. Nipsey meant everything to us. He wasn't just a rapper. He was hope. When he died, we all blamed Big U. For the beef, for the street politics, for not protecting Nip. So, when I saw Jabari that night, it felt like balancing the scales. I thought I was doing what Nipsey would have wanted. But I was wrong. Nipsey never wanted this. People in the gallery broke down crying. Others shook their heads in disgust. It was raw, emotional, and haunting. A confession that blurred the line between revenge and regret. The confession revealed the depth of the conspiracy theories that had taken root in Los Angeles since Nipsey's death. For years, social media had been a breeding ground for speculation about Big U's alleged involvement, despite no evidence connecting him to the murder and Eric Holder's conviction. During the trial, prosecutors had presented a disturbing picture of Walters' descent into violence. Evidence showed extensive social media activity, including hundreds of posts and comments expressing anger toward Big U, and glorifying Nipsey text messages revealed discussions with friends about how someone should make Big U pay for what happened to Nipsey. Mental health experts testified that Walters had become increasingly isolated and radicalized by online content. He spent hours each day consuming conspiracy theories about the rap industry and gang politics, falling down digital rabbit rabbit holes that led him further from reality. His social circle had shrunk to almost nothing with only online communities, reinforcing his warped worldview. Prosecutors had argued that Walters acted alone, motivated by online conspiracy theories and years of street rumors connecting Big U to Nipsey's death. Despite Eric Holder's 2022 conviction for killing Nipsey, many in Los Angeles refused to accept the official narrative. Social media posts with the hashtag Dom4 Nipsey had circulated for years, suggesting that Big U had orchestrated the murder or failed to prevent it. The prosecution's forensic psychologist, Dr. Ramona Martinez, testified that Walters exhibited signs of what she called conspiratorial radicalization. She explained Mr. Walters didn't wake up one day and decide to commit murder. This was a gradual process facilitated by constant exposure to narratives that painted Big U as the ultimate villain in Nipsey Hussle's story. Over time, these narratives became his reality and he felt compelled to act on them. Judge Lopez sentenced Walters to 35 years to life, calling the crime a tragic manifestation of misinformation and misplaced loyalty. Her words carried the weight of a larger societal reckoning. She added, Nipsey Hussle stood for peace, entrepreneurship, and community empowerment to invoke his name. While committing murder is the ultimate betrayal of his legacy, you have not honored him. You have dishonored everything he worked for, and you have robbed another family of their son, their brother, their future. She continued, her voice heavy with both anger and sadness. This court has seen many tragic cases, but few as senseless as this one. You killed an innocent man based on internet rumors and street gossip. You destroyed multiple families because you believed conspiracy theories more than facts. You turned a man of peace into your justification for violence. That is not justice, Mr. Walters. That is murder. Plain and simple. As guards led Walters away, he turned back one final time and said, I'm sorry to everyone, especially to Jabari's family. I was lost. It was a moment of clarity that came too late to change anything. The courtroom slowly emptied, leaving behind a sense of profound loss and unanswered questions about how social media and street culture had combined to create such a tragic outcome. To understand how Jabari Henley's murder became entangled with Nipsey Hussle legacy, we must go back to the beginning of their relationship. Eugene Big U Henley was a towering figure in South Los Angeles long before he became a music executive. As a high-ranking member of the Rollin 60s Crips, he commanded respect and fear in equal measure. But in the early 2000s, Big U began pivoting toward the music industry, founding Unique Records as a legitimate business venture. His first major success came through Nipsey Hussle, born as Asda, in 1985. Nipsey grew up in the Crenshaw district, where gang culture and hip-hop were inseparable. As a teenager, Nipsey showed promise as a rapper, but he lacked the connections to break into the industry. That's where Big U came in. According to Complex Magazine's retrospective, Big U became Nipsey's mentor around 2005, introducing him to producers, booking studio time, and providing street credibility that opened doors in LA's competitive rap scene. Their partnership was symbiotic. Nipsey gained access to resources and protection. Big U gained a rising star who could legitimize Unique Records. By 2008, Nipsey had released several successful mixtapes and was on the verge of mainstream recognition. The relationship seemed mutually beneficial, with Big U playing the role of protector and business manager while Nipsey focused on his craft. In interviews from that era, Nipsey spoke respectfully about Big U's guidance, crediting him with teaching him how to navigate both the music industry and street politics. During these years, Big U and Nipsey were often seen together at industry events in the studio and around Crenshaw. Big U's reputation provided a shield that allowed Nipsey to move freely and build his brand. In return, Nipsey's growing success reflected well on Big U, suggesting that his transition from street life to legitimate business was genuine and successful. They collaborated on multiple projects with Big U, handling much of the business side while Nipsey concentrated on his music. Friends from that time describe a relationship that went beyond business with Big U, treating Nipsey almost like a son, and Nipsey looking to Big U for guidance on matters both professional and personal. But by 2010, cracks in their relationship had begun to show, according to multiple sources. Tensions arose over money, creative control, and the direction of Nipsey's career. The breaking point came in 2012 during what insiders called the parking lot incident. According to a detailed Reddit thread and corroborated by witnesses, Nipsey and his brother, Black Sam, confronted Big U in a Crenshaw parking lot. The conversation allegedly turned heated, with Nipsey demanding to be released from his obligations to Unique Records. Big U reportedly felt disrespected, viewing Nipsey's departure as betrayal after years of support. The split wasn't just professional, it became personal, spiritual, and political. In interviews after the incident, Nipsey avoided direct accusations but made it clear he was done with old systems. The parking lot confrontation represented a philosophical break as much as a business one. Nipsey wanted complete independence and control over his destiny, while Big U felt entitled to continued involvement. Based on his early support, in a 2013 interview with The Breakfast Club, Nipsey spoke cryptically about the split. "You gotta separate business from the streets. You can't bring both mentalities to the same table. That's when everything gets confusing." Fans took that as a veiled jab at Big U, and the rift between them became common knowledge. In Los Angeles hip-hop circles around the same time, Big U quietly pivoted. He launched Developing Options, a nonprofit that claimed to reduce gang violence by hiring at-risk youth for city-funded projects. The group later came under scrutiny for alleged misuse of federal grants and suspicious ties to city contracts, as detailed by the Los Angeles Sentinel. While Big U reinvented himself as a community activist, Nipsey doubled down on independence. He founded All Money and refused major label deals, and made history by selling his Crenshaw mixtape for $100 per copy, a marketing stunt that turned him into a legend of self-determination. Big U. Once his mentor was left watching from the sidelines as Nipsey became what he had always wanted to be: a leader, respected both by the streets and the mainstream. The fallout didn't stay private for long. By 2016, whispers were circulating that Nipsey's newfound six came with an invisible price, that he was still paying tax to certain Crenshaw figures for protection and access. Multiple YouTube documentaries and podcasts reference this alleged extortion network, connecting it directly to Big U's name as hot new hip-hop. Reported Big U's check-in system for rappers and athletes in Los Angeles blurred the lines between mentorship and coercion. It was even rumored that out-of-town artists had to clear their presence through Big U's connections to avoid problems with local sets. Several rappers and athletes reportedly paid protection money to operate safely in certain Los Angeles neighborhoods. While these allegations were never proven in court until Big U's 2025 RICO indictment, the perception became reality in the minds of many. The indictment detailed a complex network of intimidation and extortion, allegedly run by Big U and several associates, that targeted everyone from local business owners to visiting celebrities. Meanwhile, Big U maintained his public persona as a reformed gang member turned community activist. He spoke at youth programs, appeared on podcasts discussing gang intervention, and positioned himself as someone who had successfully transitioned from the streets to legitimate business. But the shadow of his past and his ongoing influence in certain neighborhoods never fully disappeared by the late 2010s. Nipsey and Big U lived parallel lives in the same city but in different worlds. Nipsey was hosting business meetings with the mayor's office and city developers. Speaking about reinvestment in STEM programs, Big U was managing artists and expanding his reach in gang intervention programs. Though questions about his methods persisted publicly, they downplayed their issues. But behind closed doors, mutual acquaintances told All Hip Hop News that the wounds never healed. The tension wasn't openly hostile, but it was there, a constant undercurrent in Los Angeles hip hop that everyone knew about, but few discussed. Publicly, when Jabari Baby Wee Henley was murdered on Halloween 2025, those conspiracy seeds bore fruit. Deshaun Walters' confession, "I did it for Nipsey," wasn't born in isolation. It grew from over a decade of speculation, lyrics, podcast debates, and blurred boundaries between fact and folklore. Every rumor that Big U had blood on his hands turned into the motive that drove another man to take his son's life. Reflections on legacy and loyalty in the tragic arithmetic of Los Angeles. Vengeance is never random, it's inherited. A former associate told LA Weekly, "The city turned them into symbols. Nipsey became the light, Big U became the shadow. You can't kill one without the other haunting you today. Murals of Nipsey still lined Crenshaw Boulevard. Kids wear marathon hoodies without ever knowing who Big U was or what he once meant to Nipsey's journey. But those who lived through it know the truth. The same loyalty that built their bond also destroyed it. The tragedy of Jabari's death extends beyond one family's grief. It represents the dangerous power of narrative in the digital age, where conspiracy theories take on lives of their own and shape real-world violence. You and Nipsey's relationship was one of mentorship, business pride, and betrayal. Neither man was purely a hero nor villain. They were products of a system that rarely allows for second chances or clean breaks in the streets. Debts are never fully paid, and loyalty is measured in blood. In one of his last interviews before Jabari's death, Big U told Drink Champs, "If people knew what really happened, they'd know it was love. But love and pride don't mix. Good in the streets." That single line sums up the tragedy that began in 2008 and never truly ended, because when Nipsey died, his marathon didn't stop. It simply changed runners, and when Jabari was killed, the finish line finally blurred into something unrecognizable. Los Angeles will never forget their names, but it will forever debate what those names mean. For some, Nipsey Hussle represents liberation, entrepreneurship, and the possibility of breaking cycles. His marathon clothing store became a symbol of Black economic empowerment. His investments in STEM education showed a path forward for the community, and his music provided a soundtrack for ambition and perseverance. For others, Big U represents the complex reality of street power. That street just is real and necessary, that the children must answer for the sins of their fathers. As Deshaun Walters sits in prison for the next 35 years, he has time to reflect on what his actions truly accomplished. He didn't honor Nipsey. He didn't bring justice. He didn't balance any scales. He simply added another name to Los Angeles's endless list of senseless murder, and took a son from a father who, whatever his flaws, loved him deeply. The marathon continues, as Nipsey's fans often say, but perhaps it's time to ask, in what direction? Toward more violence and revenge, or toward the economic empowerment and community building that Nipsey actually stood for? The answer to that question will determine whether his death and Jabari's death meant anything at all. In the end, 3 families have been destroyed: the Asdas, who lost Emus, the Henleys, who lost Jabari, and the Walters, whose son will spend most of his adult life in prison. The streets claim them all in different ways for different reasons, but the result is the same: